40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Area 51 Friday Superspeedway Truck Series here on Green, White, Checkered TV. We are looking forward to an action-packed night of, it should be 90 laps, actually, I believe, at Echo Park Speedway. Actually, might even be 100 the last I checked, so apologies for mistake on the graphic there, but we've got quite a few laps here at the 1.52 mile oval here in Hampton, Georgia, and we are looking forward to kicking this one off. It's going to be under the lights for tonight. The weather's going to be a little cooler, 65 degrees. Obviously no precipitation in the sim world, but it will be partly cloudy, and that track will cool off pretty quickly here as we get into the nighttime, and as Larry Mack says, which is also the right time. So looking forward to tonight's action here. We are getting underway with qualifying. We have about 30 seconds left in the qualifying session, so we're going to jump right into it and start with our point standings update. So we'll bring that up for you here, and we see at the top of the leaderboard, it's still Cody Nagels in that first position with 225 points, a commanding lead over second place Robert Rock with 188 points there in second place. Vicente Guerrero in the third spot solidly with 183 points. We'll go back to Everett Lane in fourth there with 169 and just 3 points back. Last spot in the top five is Dean Wilkinson. Paul Turner, another 5 points back, is in sixth position with Austin McCarthy, the rookie, tied with Doug Webb at 158 points there in seventh place. Bud Steele in ninth with 155 solidly in the top 12 at the moment. Tom Dixon as well, just 2 points behind Bud. Jack Wallace is going to be your 11th place competitor. He gained, I think, 4 or 5 spots over last week, so a really good jump in the points for him to put himself into the positions for that playoff later on, or chase, whatever you want to call it, later on this season. So Jack Wallace up to 11th there. Bob Fitzgerald just 1 point back, and man, look at how tight that race is for 12th place. Bridgman in 13th, just behind by 2 points. Phillips got a little bit of ground to gain, but has had some good runs as of late. We'll see if he can try and capitalize over Bob Fitzgerald and Justin Davis there. Just 7 points outside of the cutoff there in 14th. We'll go 9 points back to Charles Johnson there with 125, and only 13 points back to 16th place Paul Witt. So there is a lot of movement that still could happen. We are working on the 7th race of the season here tonight, and we've got a few more to go. Obviously, we've got the 10 races before we get into the 4-race playoff. So including tonight, that'll be 4 races to go to get to that magical playoff time and whittle that field down to those 12 drivers who will be lucky enough to compete for the championship. And now we'll take some time and bring up your starting grid here, and we'll see that it is, well, we'll look for the first page first of all, and we'll see that Cody Nagels has grabbed the pole once again here, and that number 16, Dean Wilkinson, just to his outside, just 0.02 of a second behind there for TW Motorsports in the outside of row number 1. Vicente Guerrero, that 14 truck, he's going to be starting inside of row number 2, and Everett Lane in the 24 will be lined up to his outside. The top 5 is going to be rounded out by Bud Steele for Roswell Motorsports tonight, and Doug Webb for the team Bootnakas is there outside in row number 3. Bob Fitzgerald in that 08 will be side by side with Austin McCarthy in the 8th starting position. Mr. Brandon Briggs joining the field for tonight, and he'll be out of the booth, and you'll hear, just my voice tonight for myself, Boomer Logan. Forgot to introduce myself. Always professional here, I guess. Making a mistake, but that's okay, and having fun. Hopefully, having fun with you guys here tonight. Looking forward to bringing this, but the rest of the grid is going to be covered by Philip Bridgman there in the top 10, and then we've got a couple drivers electing to not qualify for tonight, or at least not take a qualifying time, so they will start at the back of this pack, and that is going to start with Paul Turner there in that number 5 Chevrolet, Guile Brooks in the number 71 Ford F-150 to his outside, row number 6. And the last few stragglers in the pack, we've got Gary Huffines and Robert Rock lined up in row 7 with Eric Laurie and Thomas Holder on the end of the field here. And it actually looks like Eric Laurie not being shown in the car right now. He may have missed the start of this race, so we'll see if he's able to start on pit road, or if it's going to be a night where he's not going to be able to make it out, and which would be obviously unfortunate. But the lights are off on the pace car, which means we are just about ready to see it dive onto pit road here, and we are ready to kick it off again. 100 laps for tonight, and we are looking forward to the action here. Green flag is out on the speedway. Down the back straightaway they go. Cody Nagels from the pole leads us off into turns 3 and 4 with Vicente, his teammate, just behind him there. The 55 loses a little bit of ground on this first lap here. He's going to be about the third truck in line in the inside, so he's just about even with Bud Steele now as a 16 and the 14 breakaway just a little bit. Bud Steele, third car inside lane, side by side again with Dean Wilkinson, outside lane. The 24 of Lane is in the outside lane, and he's got another driver up there, the 39. That's a lot of green trucks for tonight. So that's the 39 is obviously Brandon Briggs, and running pretty good so far. We don't really see too much action. Seen a couple drivers kind of fading off towards the back. Obviously, Thomas Holder here actually looks like he has lost the draft potentially, and so unfortunate for him. He will. It's going to be tough for him to gain up that ground, as obviously you can see the rear bumper of Robert Rock is about 2 seconds and growing there ahead of that 00 truck. So hopefully Thomas gets a chance to get back up in this, but Robert Rock, who's had a really solid season all season, is currently second in the points in that 171. He's just going to hang out in the back, lay low. So is the 71 of Guile Brooks, Paul Turner back here. These are some of the guys that elected not to take a qualifying time and are just kind of hanging out and getting ready to hopefully ride out maybe some of the chaos that we could see at an action-packed Atlanta Motor Speedway, now Echo Park Speedway, as we see a couple new drivers up at the front. The 55 of Dean Wilkinson gets clear of the 16 and down, and so does the 24 off the push of the nose of the 39, and that's going to leave the 39 and the 7 of Briggs and Bridgman there in the outside lane together. We'll see if the 7 has enough to get that 39 truck to the front. It looks like Gary Huffines there. It is, I believe that's actually Doug Webb that is in the outside lane there. Should be Doug Webb in the 714 on the outside. He is third car and the last car in the outside lane for now. The inside is going to be covered by Everett Lane, Dean Wilkinson, the 16 of Cody Nagels, the 14 of Guerrero, the 6 of Bud Steele, and so on. And we are already working on lap number 6. It is pretty crazy how quickly these races can click off at such a small speedway. And we do see actually Thomas Holder coming down pit road already, so potentially some maybe some contact with the wall, and maybe a bad wheel bearing or something, but interesting to see, or who knows, it could be equipment issue or whatever, but interesting to see and unfortunate to see Thomas on pit lane so early. Obviously a very unscheduled stop just 6 laps into this race. Side by side through 1 and 2. The 24, the 55 inside, 39 and the 7 outside. Not a ton of movement, but it does look like the outside lane has had some pretty good chances to move forward. Obviously, the 55 and the 24 got a good push from the outside to make their way down and in front of the leader of Cody Nagels, who started on pole here tonight. And the 7 is just kind of a little conservative off the rear bumper of the 39, but so is the 55 on the 24. They're not really pushing too hard at the moment, but you do see some decent connection there from the 7 and the 39. We'll see if it's enough to generate a run down the back straightaway and see if Brandon can pull down into the lead spot here. I don't think he's going to get cleared, but he's close, and the inside lane obviously is going to pull ahead through the bottom of the corner. Working on lap number 8 of 100. It'll be 9 here as they cross the stripe, and we're just about 10% through this one here. And the sensation of speed definitely is quite a bit more. I know we've talked about this a lot on the broadcasts, but just because of the nature of, we do know that this track is as wide as Daytona, so you do have the ability to have through-wide racing, but because the turns are so much quicker, there's a higher acceleration with the sharper corner radius, and it makes a big difference as far as how hard you can push, and it makes this track exciting. Obviously, we can't we don't see the wear in this track in the sim like we do in real life, but obviously in real life it's starting to wear out just a little bit, and you'll see these guys will not be full throttle all the way through the run, and tires could be a big difference here, and not nearly as much as we'd seen in the past. I think it's going to be important for drivers to maybe try and take 2 tires on pit stops. I think we see that a lot, especially with the lower fuel loads. Taking left side tires still allows you the opportunity to fill the tank with fuel, but still get service to have tires replaced. If you replace the right sides, obviously it does have to simulate the crew going to the other side of the truck and replacing those tires. So if you pick the left sides, obviously it's closer to the pit wall, and it does take a little less time. And typically under green flag, I think we're going to see a fair amount of stops of drivers taking left side tires here just to get a little extra grip. That pit road exit can be pretty treacherous, and if you have, probably one of the worst things for tires is heat cycles. So obviously these tires are up to temp after running 12 laps here, but as you go through the heat cycle, to heat the tire up and cool it down, heat it up, cool it down, that's really going to degrade the rubber that's left on that tire, even if it still has some tread. Obviously, it's not a treaded tire, it is a racing slick, but there is some amount of rubber on that tire, and even if there is some of that left, if you go through those heat cycles, it really does degrade the material and gives you it makes it a harder time. So that's something to be watching, and even though obviously it doesn't seem like it's much, but coming down on pit road is definitely going to be enough to cool the tires off just enough to potentially put a heat cycle on them, and that lack of grip, especially from having worn out tires, is going to be very dicey off of pit road. So again, we'll see. I don't think we're going to see 4 tires be as much of a premium as we've seen in the past. The last couple times we've come to Atlanta, we've seen the 2 tires stop being about as much as you need, something to keep the car from losing all handling whatsoever, but not enough to hold you back, because those 5 to 6 extra seconds for taking 4 tires and fuel is going to be a very large distance when you're running. Last time by we ran a 31:41 for the leaders, and they are about 0.8 of a second or so slower than over half a second. That last one was a 31:50 to Brandon Briggs' best lap time was a 30:84, and you can see where the fall off is quite a bit there, almost encroaching the 1 second mark of fall off. So quite a few tenths of fall off there as we actually see the 39. He finally gets that push from the 7 to get ahead of the 29 of Lane and is going to be cleared to the lead. And that's going to put the 7:14 of Doug Webb pushing the 7 of Bridgman. And we'll see if they have enough momentum to get to the front there. Really, it seems like they're backing off just a little bit. And I think one of the things that they're probably trying to think in that outside lane now is, hey, I know that pit stops are probably coming within the next lap. Next 10 laps is what I meant to say. Within the next 10 laps or so, we'll probably see trucks starting to come down pit road. and they're probably starting to try to think, obviously you can either push like crazy and try to get up to that front. Obviously the 714 is not going to have that opportunity if the 7 does get clear, because it's very unlikely that they'll both get clear ahead of the leaders. And with the ground that they are losing here, it looks like they're going to have to try and find a hole to put themselves in position to be on that inside lane, or hopefully their pit strategy allows for them to go an extra lap. No update on Thomas Holder other than he is still in the pit lane, so we're going to assume that will mean he is most likely out for tonight. Unfortunate for him to be out so early. Working on lap number 18 at the moment. Brandon Briggs is going to jump to the high side there, and that's going to allow the inside to get back down to him. But Brandon clicked off a couple good laps led there, as Everett Lane and Dean Wilkinson are going to come back up to the point here. We've heard that the fuel window is going to be somewhere around 24 to 26 laps, full song, so full throttle, all the way around the speedway. And we've seen a few different drivers up at the front. Not really seen a consistent leader here. I mean, obviously Lane, Wilkinson, Briggs, Nagels have all led laps so far, but no one has really led them for an extended period of time, which should mean that they all can save a little bit of fuel. Obviously, the 24 is most likely burning more fuel than anybody else in the field, with the exception of Brandon Briggs, who's obviously led some laps, but is also leading that outside line at the moment. So 24 and the 39, most likely the two in the field that are burning the most amount of fuel. And probably some that are burning the least amount of fuel would be at the back of the pack. And we still see that baby blue, almost petty blue truck, 40 Racewear, the beautiful colors of that number 71. We see Gary Huffines just ahead of Gael Brooks here. Obviously Gael in that 71 truck. The 5 of Paul Turner, and then Robert Rock just back there in the pack. And these guys are just kind of waiting it out, waiting for pit stops, maybe trying to save some fuel to go an extra lap or two. We do know that can typically be the Roswell Motorsports MO. And obviously, Gael is really great at executing it here. Although his teammate Bud Steele is all the way up in that 5th position at the moment. He started there and has just been having a pretty quiet night so far. Solidly in the top 5, as everyone seems to be getting down to the bottom lane. The 39's trying to find a hole to the bottom, as the 7's not really pushing anymore, so I think they are getting fairly committed to trying to figure out when they can get down and where they can get down so that they can make their first pit stops of the night, which should be coming here in the next few laps. Everett Lane continuing to lead as they cross the straight to start lap 24, and leader number 24 out in front, up 3 positions on the night. Him and Brandon Briggs are currently your highest climbers, up 3 respectively. 2 positions up is Philip Bridgman and Gary Huffines, as well as, actually now Brandon Briggs and Philip Bridgman up 3 each, so 3 each for Everett Lane and Brandon Briggs as they run. Not really a lot of high climbers, but also not a lot of people falling too much, as the 24 is going to actually duck down to the bottom there. And I wasn't sure if he was pulling off or just got loose in the front straightaway, but it is kind of crazy here. Obviously, back in the day, the front stretch and the back stretch were actually harder to hold on to the car here than it was in the corners. It could be really a really treacherous speedway, so It's definitely turned into quite a unique opportunity, and we are going to see a few drivers actually coming down to pit road early. Oh no, the slide in the grass for the 71 and the spin around. He's going to go to the right. Bud Steele's going to get in. Okay, so is Brandon Briggs. Guile may have a penalty for that. Hopefully not, but it's possible. An unsafe pit entry for that 71, and he's going to come out a little bit further back than Bud or Brandon here. We'll see if anybody else answers the call. Cody Nagels and Vicente Guerrero have actually split out to the front of this group as Everett Lane comes down pit road with Dean Wilkinson, Philip Bridgman, Doug Webb, and Paul Turner in tow. So the group of 5 here coming down pit road. Obviously entrance is on the back straightaway, so we'll see coming down this time. Do the 16 and the 14 answer, and they are going to, as well as the rest of the field, except for, it looks like Gary Huffines is actually going to stay out on track. I think we got Bob Fitzgerald in and Robert Rock in this time as well. So Gary Huffines is going to be on his lonesome here. He will get a lap led, which is a bonus point, which does help. But he will be without a lot of drafting help as they come off of pit road. So we'll see here Paul Turner is off of pit road. Bud Steele is actually back up to speed. Brandon Briggs is about 3 seconds behind him. And then, Guile Brooks does take 4 tires and fuel after a 40-second penalty for that number 71. So he's going to go a few laps down here. And Gary Huffines currently scored as your leader as he's going to come. Yeah, he's coming down pit road now. So we'll see where everybody nets out. Cody Nagels is going to be coming off of pit road. Everett Lane and Dean Wilkinson are still lined up nose to tail and should be coming out here and will likely come out ahead of the Cody Nagels group. Think that they'll be able to hold on to them as a whole lead pack, especially if there's 2 trucks in the 24 and the 55, and there's 4 trucks. It looks like it's going to be lined up there, but we'll probably have a few stragglers that we'll lose in this pack, but the 24 and the 55 are going to put themselves back towards the front here. And with Gary Huffines coming off of pit road, we'll see where he ends up as far as his position to the leaders here. Again, Everett and Dean out front. Then we're going to have Cody Nagels, Vicente Guerrero, Austin McCarthy, and Bob Fitzgerald in this group here. Bud Steele is about 0.8 of a second back. And it looks like that gap is growing, though still within the 1 second window to not really have too many concerns, especially because he does have Doug Webb who is catching him. Gary Huffines is catching Doug Webb, and then 2 seconds back is going to be Brandon Briggs and the 7 of Bridgman and Paul Turner. Robert Rock is about 8 seconds behind this group here. And obviously Guile Brooks is about 40 seconds back, so he is over 1 lap down behind this field as the leaders are coming through turns 3 and 4 at the moment. And we're going to have a nice, looks like 6-pack here at the front. And then this second group here is going to be led by Bud Steele, Doug Webb. And then looks like Gary Huffines should be able to join this group here as well. And that should put a 3-car breakaway. These 3 cars behind are actually quite a bit faster, though, in Brandon Briggs, Philip Bridgman, and Paul Turner. They're pretty well organized. And obviously, you remember earlier on, that 7 of Bridgman was the one who pushed the 39 clear and into the lead. So they've been having some good times working together. As you see, a really good link there through turns 3 and 4, pushing into the corner, which is definitely more of an aggressive move. But obviously they've got a little bit of practice together and have been working pretty much all night so far. So they've got that down to an art. And they are doing what they can to try and catch Gary Huffines, who is just off the rear bumper of Doug Webb and Bud Steele. So we'll look at the last lap times as they come through again. We'll come back up to our leaders, though. Again, it is this 6-pack of Lane, Wilkinson, Nagels, Guerrero, McCarthy, and Bob Fitzgerald. And as they cross the stripe, they run a lap time of 31:23. Bud Steele, about 3 seconds back, is going to run a 31:32. And then Brandon Briggs runs a 31:28, so it's pretty close, but they're chipping away, that second pack is at least, at trying to catch up to the third pack is chipping away at the second pack. So we've got this first 6-pack here. We've got the 3-car group of the 6, the 714, and the 98, and then the 39, the 7, and the 5. And as they cross the stripe this time, a 31.38 for Bud Steele and a 31.21 for Brandon Briggs. So they're catching by over a tenth a second now. The gap back to Gary, or from Brandon up to Gary, I should say, is 2.2 seconds, and that is slowly fading. I don't know if they're going to have enough momentum to be able to catch up to our leaders, but Brandon Briggs is running just about the same lap times right now as Everett Lane is up here with the push of Dean Wilkinson at the front of this field. And we've got 35 laps underway here tonight, just past the 1/3 mark of the 100 lap scheduled distance. It is Lane, Wilkinson, Nagels, Guerrero, McCarthy, your top five. Bob Fitzgerald in this six-pack. At the front of the field, Bud Steele, Webb, and Huffines there, your second group. And 5.5 seconds off of the leaders is Briggs, Bridgman, and Turner. Robert Rock there coming out without any dancing partners after the green flag pit cycle. And Gael Brooks just trying to hold on. He's just ahead of our leaders here and should be caught by them fairly soon to go 2 laps down. 1 lap down. Obviously, if you have issues on pit road, it's so tough. It's really easy to go 2 laps down if you have any issues whatsoever. Obviously, with pit road penalties being typically 40 seconds, that is over a lap time on pit road. So it's about a lap and a third. So it's really dangerous and really easy to go at least 1 lap down, usually likely 2, as this group should catch that 71 here momentarily. But pretty quiet after it's been spread out. Really not too much movement whatsoever, I don't think, since the pit stop, really. Obviously, we've kind of watched the 39 of Brandon Briggs. He continues to chip away at the gap back to Gary Huffines, Doug Webb, and Bud Steele, and that gap is definitely shrinking. The gap from Briggs in 10th to Everett Lane in the lead, though, has not really changed much. It's still around 5.7 seconds, but you do see that Steele, Webb, and Huffines are slowly creeping back towards the 39, 7, and 5 group. And hopefully, once they link together, it's possible that, obviously with the 39 and the 7 running the lap times that they are, they could have a chance to catch up to Everett Lane and Dean Wilkinson, or at least kind of minimize that. And obviously, as we say that, they lose about 0.2 of a second there. At least Briggs does to our leaders, and going to be slowing down just a little bit. And see as they roll through the start-finish line, it's a 31:27 lap time for our leader Everett Lane. Bud Steele runs a 31:36, and Brandon Briggs runs a 31:37. So pretty even there. Leaders with about a tenth of an advantage over anybody else, though. Always fun to see these paint schemes. You know, we've definitely got quite a few talented painters in the league. Always love highlighting these cars, and it's always fun to see the spec maps at night because you can really tell how much detail goes into the spec maps. With obviously, you see some of the shininess on some of the stickers and some of the base paints, and obviously Everett Lane with a beautiful flat black car with all the green accents, all the metallic green accents, and the metallic silver numbers, and some just it's fun to see how these cars light up at night. It definitely makes a difference. There's kind of an art to painting, something for the nighttime versus the daytime, and it's just kind of fun to see all the work that goes into all these beautiful trucks here that we have in the league. And Everett Lane still continuing to click off laps led there. You can see the 40 Raceware machine of Gael Brooks just ahead, so he will be caught by these guys probably just before the second round of pit stops, which should be beneficial for that 71, as he's been running by himself without drafting help, so he might go a little bit shorter on fuel than everybody else can for this next pit stop, but obviously we're already talking about it again. Some of the first drivers pit on lap 25, and if you double that, obviously that gets us to lap 50. And then looks like they're trying to short that window to go 25 laps every time they pit. So we'll see who can come down earliest. But obviously, if you can make it to that lap 50 window, that should mean that this pit stop would be your second to last for the night. We've got some friends jumping in the chat as well for tonight. Obviously, Brandon and Gael already chiming in from the truck seat while we were gridding, and Seth Groover is hanging out with us here. Everett Lane doing a really good job, as Seth has highlighted here. Everett's really clicked off quite a few laps led. Obviously, he led a decent bit of the opening stage here. And then after the first green flag cycle, really nobody has changed position since then. And Everett Lane has been leading every single lap since that point. So Everett really doing a lot of work to try and cement himself for that extra bonus point for the most laps led. And he's definitely building a solid case as we are nearing the halfway point of this race. Lap 47 now starting for our leader. Looking back at some lap times once again, Everett Lane running at a 31:58. So actually we'll pull him up here so you guys can see him too. So a 31:579 for Lane, and you see where Bob Fitzgerald's at the end of this pack. Bud Steele actually running a pretty good lap time, almost 0.3 of a second faster there, and so is the group of Bridgman, Turner, and Briggs as well. So these guys are trying to do what they can to catch up to that field. And you see as they update there, about another 0.5 tenth for Bud Steele. So they're starting to chip away back at this lead. And then Bridgman with a 31:259. So about another 0.2 of a second there. So they are closing that gap back up, which is helpful as they are trying to chip away and get back closer to this lead. But as we mentioned, in about 2 laps here, we'll see that window open for 2 pit stops to the end, and we will see who is going to take it there. And you see that the gaps are changing ever so slightly. Obviously, the Bridgman, Briggs, and Turner group have lost a little bit of ground back to about 7.2 seconds there off the lead is Bridgman. Bud Steele about 3.2 seconds back, and Everett Lane obviously leading that 6-pack here. And starting lap number 50. So we'll see if anybody elects to come down pit road this time. Obviously, we had a couple come and pit early on lap 50. So we'll see. I don't think this group is going to come in. Most of these guys here at the front pitted on 26 or 27. So they're probably going to stretch it a little bit farther here. And as you see, no movement towards that pit lane entry here, and neither for this second group as well. As actually we see the lap car, the 71 of Gael Brooks, has jumped back to this pack here, and then we'll see also Bridgman, Briggs, and Turner not coming down pit road as well. So it'll be at least another lap or two before anybody decides to make their second stop of the night. Lap number 51. Again, the 24 of Lane has led most of pretty much every lap in between the first green flag cycle till now. As him and Dean Wilkinson pitted a little bit earlier than Nagels and Guerrero, and were linked up really well. And we do see actually Bud Steele and Gael Brooks. They're going to come down pit road. Oh man, Gael slides again. Has some trouble getting into pit road, trying to maximize what he can to stay with Gael Brooks. And then Brandon Briggs, he's going to elect to pit with these guys once again, but he is a little bit further back in track position. So it might be hard for him to keep up with the 6 of Bud Steele and the 71 of Gael Brooks. And we'll see if anybody else is electing to come down pit road. nobody else so far, as you see Webb and Huffines working together here, and then Bridgman, he does have that 5 of Paul Turner. They're going to come down by themselves, and then Robert Rock is also going to be pitting this time, and it looks like just behind that is the leaders of Wilkinson and Lane, who are going to be coming down, and Wilkinson actually getting ahead of that 24 just before committing to pit road here. So reminder that while you're on the apron here, you do have to commit to pit entry by the back straightaway, but you don't have to commit to pit road speed until that yellow cone right there that Dean hits. And we've got a pretty good group coming down with him, Bob Fitzgerald, Everett Lane, Gary Huffines, and Doug Webb on pit road now. That's going to leave the 16, the 14, and the 99 out on the speedway, and they are going to be coming this time by. Lap number 54 should give them plenty of time to fill those trucks with fuel and have a pretty safe margin to pit one more time and get to the end. So we'll see. Last time we saw the 55 and the 24 come off of pit road first and have an opportunity to link up pretty well. We'll see actually the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald's going to be behind Dean Wilkinson as Everett Lane takes a little bit longer pit stop here in the 24. So Wilkinson coming off of pit road now, followed by Bob Fitzgerald. Then Bud Steele and Gael Brooks actually are up to speed as they pit a lap earlier, so they should have no problems catching up to Bob. And obviously the 55 without drafting help catch him as well. So that should break up this pack actually quite a bit, and we'll take you through the field once we get a chance to understand exactly how this breaks comes back together, not breaks up, but Cody Nagels, Vicente Guerrero coming off of pit road with Austin McCarthy as well. They are your leaders here. Obviously, Dean Wilkinson catching them at a high rate of speed and should be able to link onto the back of them by the end of the back straightaway here. You see that gap growing to decreasing now, 1.8 seconds, 1.7. And as the 16 and 14 get up to speed, that should be enough for Dean Wilkinson to get back up here. But it is tough because he does not have any drafting help at the moment. It does help that Bob Fitzgerald is a little bit further on back to stretch that gap. But we'll see. Dean Wilkinson could actually be in danger of losing this pack. He might have to follow back to the 08, the 6, and the 71 here. And once it all sorts out, we'll take you through the field and try to figure out, make sense of some of this. But back at the point's going to be our pole sitter, Cody Nagels, and Vicente Guerrero starting third. They are going to be right up there. Robert Rock is going one lap down, and the 99 of McCarthy is also going to be in this pack. So it'll be a 3-horse race for finishing position, but 4 drivers in this lead draft at the moment. We'll see a lot of Chevrolets in the field for tonight. Your lone Toyota is in the top 3, and your first Ford and Dean Wilkinson there in the 4th position. Bud Steele in 6th, and Gael Brooks in 13th there, both running the F-150. Obviously, the Toyota with the Tundra, and then the Silverado covering just about every other spot in the field for tonight, including the top 2 spots of Nagels and Guerrero for Nightmare Esports. Having a pretty good run so far this season is that 16 of Nagels, both on the Friday night show and the Sunday night show, leading the championship standings in both. And obviously a little bit less of a team to work with here on Friday nights. He's got Vicente Guerrero, but no Landon Velicki and no John Ellis here in the Friday group. So having to work a little bit harder, but still getting the job done for Cody Nagels, as he's had quite a bit of a little bit of headset trouble there, sorry for that. But the 16, yeah, having a really great season so far, both on Fridays and Sundays. And why don't we see if we can get a little through the field here. We've got the 16 truck for Nightmare Esports again here. Started first, currently in the first position, and having a good opportunity so far after the second green flag pit cycle. Now in a 3-horse race up at the front of this field. His teammate just behind him there, again, started third up to second. That is Vicente Guerrero in the number 14. Has had quite a bit of success for himself as well. I believe he's actually third in the standings in both nights. I know he's third on Fridays. I believe it's correct for Sundays as well. And then Austin McCarthy, the rookie in that number 99. He is one of our highest climbers at the moment. He's up to third, starting in the 8th position in that number 99 Toyota Tundra. Again, the lone Toyota in the field for tonight. And we'll go back to the first Ford now, which is that 55 of Dean Wilkinson. Started in that second position, still in top 5, having a good run for tonight. Bud Steele is in P5, starting in P5 as well. And lap times are pretty even between our leaders and this group of 4 right here. Bud Steele got a pretty good push to the back of the 55 of Dean Wilkinson. We do have a couple lap cars here, which we'll cover as we come back through. But Bob Fitzgerald in the 6th position. He's going to be up here. Started 7th, having a really strong run for tonight in that M&M's Chevrolet, and looking pretty good doing it as well. Gary Huffines will find about 6.5 seconds back in that number 98 for high speed, and the 5 of Paul Turner just behind him here in the 8th position. Started just outside the top 10 and is having a solid run in the Kyle Larson-esque paint scheme for his Chevrolet. Everett Lane is going to come off of pit road a little bit further back. Unfortunately, started 4th, but he's back in the 9th position, and he finds himself about 16 seconds off of the lead. The good news is that he does have some help from Bridgman and Doug Webb, who are in 10th and 11th, respectively. Obviously, the 714 being a teammate, and the 7 of Philip Bridgman here running for the high-speed chasers with Gary Huffines. So they're broke it up just a little bit, but Everett Lane there in the 9th position. Obviously, we'll show Philip Bridgman here in that number 7 machine, having a pretty solid run. He had some good opportunities early on working with Brandon Briggs to actually push him all the way to the lead. Now he finds himself a little bit further on back, about 16 seconds off of the leaders here. He actually took 4 tires and fuel and was one of the very few people who did that on the last green flag pit cycle. And then Everett Lane's teammate Doug Webb here in the 714 for Team Bootnaka Esports is rocking the 11th position at the moment here. And just kind of quietly logging laps here as we wait out and see what the next pit cycle might bring. I told you there were some lap cars that we had to highlight as well, so we're going to come back around to Robert Rock in the 12th position at the moment for the 171. Definitely, I mean, still a short field, so not a terrible night for the 171. He is in a decent position being the lucky dog candidate, which does help him if, if something were to happen. So still in good shape, and obviously he has, come out to a very strong start this season and is in really good shape to just be able to kind of just really survive the next couple races and should be in a good position to make these playoffs and try to contend for a championship. Obviously getting his first win earlier this season to kick off this 2026 season, and his first win in quite a few years, so at least a handful. So good to see Robert Rock having a really solid start to this season early on, and definitely a really strong run on the points so far. So up to 12th for the moment here, and we'll find the driver in front of him, actually behind him on track. So Gael Brooks is 2 laps down, so the 171 does have a lap advantage over the 71, and that puts Robert again in a good spot for the lucky dog. And we do see Brandon Briggs has also come down pit road. So he is going to be, looks like, retiring for the night. So Cody Nagels here is your leader. We'll pick him back up, and they'll be running down the back straightaway now. And yeah, that should be everyone in the field. Obviously, Thomas Holder coming off of pit road early. Eric Laurie not starting the race for some reason, unfortunately. So he will be scored as the 16th truck in the standings for tonight. Lap number 70 is now started for the 16 and the 14, and that window to the end is going to be open in about 5 laps. I won't be surprised if we see these guys stretch it another 4 or 5 laps past that point, probably closer to maybe lap 80 or so, because they pit last on lap 54. So we've seen about anywhere from 25, 26 to 27 laps or so for the pit cycles at least at full song 100% throttle here. So that puts us in the portion of the show where the ticker starts to count down, starting with 30 laps to go. So when that number hits 25 laps to go, we'll be about lap 75, and we will have our opportunity for the final pit stop, the money stop as it were, to be underway. And we'll see. Obviously, there's still a lot of execution that needs to happen. Bud Steele being only 4.5 seconds back, 4.7 seconds. That gap growing just a little bit there. Curious if there was maybe a bobble or something from the 6, but no, they're actually connected pretty well. So curious to see why they lost about just over 0.2 of a second that last lap. But still did to our leaders. The group of Gary Huffines and Paul Turner actually running pretty similar lap times to our leaders, which is fairly impressive for just 2 trucks on their own. Obviously, no pack out here is overly large at this point. We do have the 3-pack here of the 714. Now the teammate pushing the 24 of Everett Lane, trying to get back up to the lead. And as they cross the stripe, we'll give you an idea of where those lap times are at. And actually, Cody Nagel's there at the front of this field running a 31:39. Bud Steele comes across the line with a 31:62. Gary Huffines a 31:52. Next pack back is Everett Lane and Doug Webb with a 31:55. So they are losing a little bit of time to the leaders here. The 16 and the 14 are definitely pacing the field pretty well. A 31:27 that time for Nagels, and we'll see what Bud Steele runs, a 31:75. So a little bit of tire wear potentially going on as we get longer into this run, and it's about a half-second gap now where Cody Nagels and Vicente Guerrero as well as Austin McCarthy are starting to pull away from everybody. Down the back straightaway, the 16 and the 14, as well as the 99, currently in position for the podium placings at the moment here. Bud Steele, Dean Wilkinson, Bob Fitzgerald, again, your second pack, about 6 seconds off the leaders. Gary Huffines and Paul Turner find themselves about 11.5 back. Everett Lane, Doug Webb, Philip Bridgman, about 18.5 seconds back. And then Robert Rock and Guile Brooks are some of the lap cars and the stragglers in that second pack. And we do see a little bit of a gap growing now as the leaders are continuing to run maybe 1 to 2, maybe sometimes 0.3 of a second faster a lap. But it is 25 laps to go, so we'll see if anybody's going to come down the back straightaway this time. It doesn't look like it to make their final pit stop of the night. That window is open, so we'll keep trying to keep it on this camera view and see if we can get an idea of when our leaders will be coming in. But again, that window to the end is wide open, and that money stop is ready just about at any point here. No takers for the leaders. The second pack will be coming in this time, it looks like, at least the 6 of Bud Steele on his own. And he should have 71 of Guile Brooks with him as well. And then that'll be just it for these two. So these guys are going to pit first here. So it's Bud Steele and Guile Brooks coming on to pit road. A little bit better. Oh, man, I was going to say a little bit better of an entry for both these guys. They've had a little bit of trouble getting on pit road. Obviously, the 71 has has had a slid the last 2 times, unfortunately. But we'll see. Does anybody else make the move towards pit road? Not quite just yet. Gary Huffines in the 5. Paul Turner, they're going to come down pit road this time. So Bud Steele and Guile Brooks are the first ones to pit last. We'll have Gary Huffines coming down this time again with his teammate. Sorry, not teammate, but they've been working together quite a bit tonight. The 98 and the 5 here. And they will be entering pit road. Coming back to the back straightaway. These guys, again, should be able to go a little bit further than just about everybody else. We'll see if Yes, indeed. The 55 and the 08 should be coming down this time by, and I think Everett Lane is going to be coming down as well. We'll see if the Bootnakas answer the call of some of the TW Motorsports drivers, and in fact they will coming down pit road. So Dean Wilkinson leads the charge ahead of Bob Fitzgerald. They do have the lap car of Robert Rock together, working with each other tonight. And these are for some of the TW Motorsports entries. Their other entry, Austin McCarthy, up at the front of this field. And we'll see Everett Lane, Doug Webb for Team Bootnaka, and then Philip Bridgman, the Canadian, coming down pit road as well. Gary Huffines is going to be coming out of pit road here, as well as Paul Turner. And then we'll actually see, oh no, contact for the 14 and the 99 coming down pit road. Hopefully that is not too detrimental to them. It doesn't look like they're too far off the back of the 16, and the saving grace is that the 14 and the 99 come off together. They're going to pick up the 16, assuming he can get off of pit road a little bit faster, but we'll have to see how the pit stops fall and what the timing looks like, and that execution of that final stop is, oh no, Vicente. Oh man, that is deep in the box, but he is able to get that pit stop underway. Out on track, there is about a 1 second gap from Dean Wilkinson back to Bob Fitzgerald, but they do have the 171 of Robert Rock, the lap car in between them. Gary Huffines and Paul Turner coming at speed, catching very quick. Should have enough time to catch up to Dean Wilkinson, Bob Fitzgerald, and Robert Rock. Cody Nagels is coming off of pit road with McCarthy and Vicente Guerrero here. So Vicente is about 0.7 of a second back, and he is gaining on Austin at the moment. So the top three will remain the same. The biggest thing to note is the gap back to the second pack there is under 7 seconds, but was quite a bit further, obviously, earlier on in the race. So Wilkinson and Fitzgerald there should be working together in that pack and gaining a little bit of ground, but obviously we're going to be probably stalling out here as we get these the 16 and the 99 back up to speed. So this will be, again, the same three-pack trio, different order this time. The 99 is going to be in the middle of the Nightmare Esports sandwich of Cody Nagels and Vicente Guerrero. Austin would be the Oreo cream filling, and the 16 and 14 being the cookies, if you would want to use that analogy. And the 55 of Dean Wilkinson. He does have two of his teammates there. Robert Rock, obviously the lap car, but he does have Bob Fitzgerald there. That is for position, so 2 cars inside the top 5 for TW Motorsports. Gary Huffines in the 98 has Paul Turner working with him as well. They've been linked together for most of the later stages of this race. Everett Lane is another 7 seconds back and about 21 seconds off of the leader. He does have his teammate Doug Webb, which is helpful. He does have Philip Bridgman as well. And then that looks like the 6 of Bud Steele as a lap car. So Bud actually getting the penalty on this pit cycle. So unfortunate for that 6 truck. Gael Brooks is another couple of seconds back. He's about a minute and 14 behind our leaders, so he is 2 laps down, in danger of going 3. But obviously, as it sits, I don't think that the leader is going to have a chance to catch up to him in time, especially since he's got some help coming just behind there in the form of the 98 and the 5. So Cody,
yeah, I didn't do a good job there.
Oh no! Hey, here you are.
Hello. Yeah, I was like, I got some open track here. Let me get out of the way of these fellas here real quick. Yeah, I got a little too greedy on pit entry and looped it and messed up Brandon's pit entry, and yeah, strategy did not go very well. But yeah, I mean, again, we talked about boomers. It's the pit stops, man. You got to nail them, and so mistake on my part. Obviously, that got me the unsafe. I think speeding or unsafe entry. I forgot which there.
I think it was unsafe
and
because you
I
saw
think,
you go in the grass. But yeah.
Yeah, I did a little lawn mowing. I think Bud just got speeding on his. But the thing that I think was the story. Well, you'll have to tell me how the pace is for some of the other guys. But we were doing lefts to kind of keep a quick pit stop, and I think both of us were starting to really struggle with grip.
Yes.
So I'll be curious to see what the other front runners are doing on the strategies on tires.
Yeah, it looks like left sides, I think, for just about everybody. Obviously, we'll chat. Well, we've got some time left, but it's looking like we'll have some time to chat with Nagels and Guerrero, but and McCarthy as well. But obviously, still a lot to happen there, so we're not going to count those chickens before they hatch. But we did see where the leaders were probably about a half of a second faster than you guys were towards the later stages. So, I mean, we really haven't seen a lot of four-tire pit stops, though. Everybody who has taken four tires has lost so much track position that they're almost, at this point, they're fairly irrelevant. So, but it was interesting to see the Nagels and McCarthy and Guerrero were about a half a second faster than anybody else by the time we took that final pit stop.
Yeah, no, those three have been monsters, and of course executing perfectly. And so, yeah, I think Austin's with the TW group, so I'll say unfortunately he's going to be lonely at the moment. But I'd say the other TW guys, I was working with them obviously a little bit earlier, and then we, like I said, we went off cycle, pitted a little early to try to maybe avoid the chaos of a giant group on pit entry, and then of course that's kind of where everything kind of came undone for that, with it going caution free thus far. But yeah, so no, it's been really interesting, the strategy. Like I said, when I was pushing Bud for all I was worth, and when I finally gave up, I was too afraid to wind up wrecking him. So I was like, hey, this isn't worth the gamble. I don't want to take you out. And even as a leader, he was saying like he was loose on entry, tight middle exit. I mean, it was just the worst combo he could have, and that was with the clean air. So it was pretty interesting that's how his truck wound up reacting.
Yeah, it's definitely been interesting. I mean, we've seen definitely seen some aero changes with these trucks and some grip changes. I mean, usually the left side tires are enough. I mean, obviously, this is nothing like when the first time we came here, because obviously when we came here first, four tires were the difference maker and it mattered so much. But now, really, as long as you have a little bit of grip, you should be okay, and the left sides do help. But no tires is definitely enough of a problem here that you really need to have something going for you in the terms of tires and grip.
Yeah, it may have just been tire management too. Maybe they're doing a good job of keeping that right front happy over the full fuel runs, and yeah, and that's why I made my decision, was actually based on the race we did here earlier this year, where I had the two tire strategy and it was going really well, and I just didn't quite catch. I think it was Charles and Dean on the final pit stop. And yeah, so they ran away with it, and that was the same thing. That was a two tire left side tire strategy there, and it worked really, really well. So that's why I was like, okay, this is going to work again. So especially with it being nighttime, the track temps are cooler, and so yeah, so I thought it was like, yeah, this is the strat to do. And just, yeah, it didn't pan out grip wise at the end of this second run. And then obviously when you make a mistake, I mean, again, these guys are too good to have a chance to recover without the help of yellow.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, obviously we've seen them execute at a pretty high level for pit stops. Really, all three of these guys in the top three at the moment here. I mean, they've built a pretty comfortable lead, about 7 seconds over everybody else. Yeah, it's definitely been impressive to watch these guys see how they do it. I mean, I know we harp on it and say it so much, but I mean, I don't think it's possible to overstate that importance of that pit road execution. I mean, we've gone green up until this point, obviously 7 laps to go now, but everybody where they are on track is exclusively from pit road execution at this point. So if you can stay with the draft, it is, obviously makes it much easier. Obviously, the 6 of Bud Steele is trapped 2 laps down after the penalty. Obviously, yourself, Gael, 2 laps down, and potentially more if anything happens. But yeah, so a couple issues on pit road, but I mean, like I said, I don't think it's possible to overstate how important that execution on pit road on and off can be.
Yeah, no, especially here, I'd say, and next week will be interesting with iRacing Superspeedway. As I said, those two by far and away the hardest pit roads to enter in the Superspeedway series. So this one, obviously, just the way you have to enter in 3, kind of run the apron and try to kind of make sure then you slow down then for the speed limit where you're kind of still in a turn. And then iRacing Superspeedway, obviously, you're going to probably 20 plus, and you get that huge banking transition that's just terrifying. So yeah, that one's going to be tough too. It'll be fun to see how these guys do here on Sunday. And then, of course, both of these guys next week at iRacing. But I say, my guy says it's 5 to go here. And I know you got nose to tail up in those top 3. So I'm going to let you do your magic, sir.
Sounds good. Well, appreciate you hopping in here, Gael. Sorry your night didn't go the way you had hoped, but glad to at least see you out there, and appreciate you jumping up with us.
Yes, sir. Have a good one to the end.
You as well. So as Gael mentions it, he tees it up for us so nicely. We do have 4 laps to go, and we've got a good race at the front here. Nagels and Guerrero now working together. Guerrero able to get the nose ahead of the 99 about 10 laps ago, and is going to be the 2 teammates here. So doesn't seem like there's going to be much of an opportunity for the 99. He does have the lap car of Bud Steele, who could potentially play spoiler, but obviously you're going to expect the 16 and the 14 to work together as they've done so well here on Friday nights and Sunday nights in all of the Area 51 Super Speedway races so far. It's 3 laps to go for Nagels, Guerrero, and McCarthy. Wilkinson and Fitzgerald about 8 seconds off of the lead, then Huffines and Turner about 12. 22 seconds back to Lane, Webb, and Bridgman. Robert Rock still 1 lap down. Bud Steele there in the lead pack. 2 laps down. Gael Brooks 2 as well. And then Briggs, Holder, and Laurie are your first 3 retirees for the night. 2 to go as they cross the stripe. The 99 does have the 6, as we mentioned here. We'll see. It looks like as they move to the high side, the 6 is thinking about giving an opportunity to push that 99, but is it going to be enough here? The 99 is going to go to the high side here, and Bud Steele is going to, looks like he's going to come up with him there. So the 16 has a decision to make whether he's going to come up and cover that lane, and he's kind of working between the 2 at the moment here, trying to secure this win for Nightmare Esports, and he's going to come off of turn 3 and 4 to get the white flag here on Green White Checkered TV. The 16 and the 14 working together on the inside. Does the 99 have enough? Not a ton of help from the 6 of Bud Steele, not trying to influence this one too much, so the 99 is working by himself quite a bit here, trying to side draft the 14 as much as possible down the back straightaway. It looks like a good advantage for the, oh no, contact between the 14 and the 99. I think we all stay rolling though, and that's going to put them further on back, but it is going to be uncontested for the win at the line. It is going to be Cody Nagels, followed by Vicente Guerrero and Austin McCarthy, broken up a little with the contact on the final lap, trying to make the pass to go for the win. Coming to the front straightaway here, a little bit of celebration for that 16. Gonna burn it down with the victory here tonight. Teammate Vicente Guerrero just behind him there in that number 14. You see them both celebrating on the front stretch here, and a lot of fun for these guys that they have had so far this season, and quite a few race wins between the 2 of them, and especially in Friday nights, but also in the Sunday night series. So we'll go through the final results for you here and see if we can get those pulled up for you. Obviously, we've seen our winners, Cody Nagels in second place, Vicente Guerrero, 1-2 for Nightmare Esports here. Austin McCarthy, a solid effort for TW Motorsports. He does actually have a couple of his TW Motorsports teammates behind him in the standings, although about 8 seconds back. That's going to be Dean Wilkinson and Bob Fitzgerald. Solid top 5 for both of them tonight. Dean Wilkinson having a really good effort, honestly, for most of the night, and really Bob, too. Pretty solid execution. They were both really tucked up into that lead pack for quite a while. Just on the final couple stops there, lose a little bit of ground, but I mean, still a very solid night for the 55 and the 08 as well. Gary Huffines and Paul Turner, they're going to be in the middle of the mix there, well inside the top 10 in the 98 and the 5. They finished in that pack about 12.5 seconds off of the lead here. We're going to go back another about 10 seconds, maybe 9 seconds behind that to find the teammates Everett Lane and Doug Webb for Team Bootnaka Esports. And they had Philip Bridgman as well for SCR Motorsports. And Robert Rock again went down a lap early. Does get the position over Bud Steele. He was running in 12th for quite a bit of the night after going a lap down, and then obviously the pit road speeding penalties to Bud Steele and Gael Brooks puts them at a 2-lap disadvantage for the night. And then we saw both Brandon Briggs and Thomas Holder pull off the speedway early. Thomas very early in the case of that 00, so unfortunate for some of the Team Bootnakas there, and obviously the 39 of Brandon Briggs, friend of the broadcast, and also running for underdogs this season on both well, Fridays when Fridays when we have a lighter field. Brandon's been running here, but helping us in the booth as well. And then he's been running with a bigger team on Sunday nights. And then again, we mentioned Thomas Holder there, 15th place, and Eric Laurie unable to start the race. So definitely unfortunate for that 071, but still should give him the opportunity to get some points. We do have some drop weeks, so obviously the points that we see do not reflect those at the moment. And hopefully that'll be a chance for the 071 to take a drop week here. But yeah, so we're gonna take some time here and get to talk to some of the drivers here who had some good nights, and see if we can also find. Actually, looks like trying to find Austin McCarthy here, and not able to do so. So we'll try and stall here over voice and see if we can find him before he heads out for the night. But yeah, solid third place finish there for Austin McCarthy there. Obviously, later in the night was tougher to get through the 16 and the 14, so was a good effort for him. But obviously making some contact there with the 14 on the final lap. And let's take just a quick second and see if we can get him up here in the booth. And we'll see if we can get him in here. If not, again, we'll just stall for a second or so here, see if we can get him in. And if not, well, we'll take the time and move on over to that second place finish, which is going to be the number 41. Sorry, 14. Got the 41 in Discord is what I'm looking at right now, but it is the 14 on Friday nights. Obviously driving the 41 for the Sunday night series, but
And
a solid finish for Vince here tonight, gaining one spot over the starting position of third to finish just behind your teammate Cody Nagels here. Vicente, take us through how you got to that second place finish here tonight.
just pushing Cody, I guess. I don't know. Me no sabe nada. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty chill. I mean, we're just going through pit cycles, staying behind Cody. I was trying to save some tires. I think Everett and Dean were leading the first half there. So we're just trying to save some tires there at the end. That last pit stop, I had a mishap there and got into Cody a little bit, and Austin. I also got into Austin. We managed to get in the pits after that, and Austin had beat me off a pit road. And then I was following Austin for a little bit there, getting to the end there, and he left it open on the bottom. I think he wanted to get Bud, I think, or whoever is on the outside. I think it was Bud Steele. I picked him up and coming to the white flag or coming to the checkers, I think I got a little bit tight there. I try to lift and stay off of Austin, and because it wasn't turning, I lifted, started turning, and it still was going up there. But I mean, I think we were gonna touch anyways. Got him a little bit loose. I'm happy that he saved it, but I did want to apologize to him for getting them into him a little bit there. I know that that's not what he wanted, and I'm sure he probably had a fight there at the end if he didn't get pushed with from me. So I do apologize. But all in all, I mean, I think we had a really good race. Yeah, congrats to Cody for winning.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, pretty uneventful race, but I don't even want to say uneventful just because I mean we highlighted so much, but how much that pit road execution matters here, and obviously you
Yeah,
and Cody have been class of the field for when it comes to that for most of the season, really here on Fridays and even on Sunday nights. But maybe take us through. You don't have to share all of your information, but what kind of
It's
things are you
okay.
preparing for? Yeah, when you practice, like what kind of things are you preparing for or looking at when you're trying to, practice that pit road execution?
I mean, I didn't really do any practice here today, but obviously I think you want to start braking before you hit that commitment cone on the backstretch. And then just trying to stay as high RPMs as much speed you can to carry around that corner, and then hard on the brakes, maybe downshifting the gear, um, and then make sure you don't get a speeding ticket, and basically tonight, like we did the last race, where we came back from getting spun for myself and Cody from being starting from the pits. I mean, we didn't take any tires on on the right sides. So we did pretty much the same thing tonight. And that was it. Just, penalties, it's costly and it's a thin line. So, you just got to gamble if you want to gain some time. If you're further in the back of the pack, they're probably making more, um, chances, taking more chances and probably cost them some spot and some time off the pit road. So being up front kind of it benefits the leaders, here I think at this track.
Yeah, definitely. We see, time and time again where that pit road execution matters so much, and obviously I think it's tougher here at Atlanta, where if you do get a pit road penalty, you're almost guaranteed to go 2 laps down. Obviously, next week we're going to be going to iRacing Superspeedway, which is a bit of a unique opportunity, and in some ways, it seems like it could be, especially with the transition of the banking and how narrow the entry to pit road is. Seems like that can be really one of the more treacherous pit roads of all the tracks that we visit. So I don't. Is there anything different that you need to consider when you're going to that speedway for that execution?
Um, I don't remember. I got a short-term memory. I guess we're gonna have to do some runs there and figure it out. But I mean, it's basically all the same on the super speedways. You if I just take it easy on pit road, try not to get a ticket, try not to wreck and self spin and keep the grip on the tires. Don't burn up your tires coming in pit road. Then you just, got to take some tires if you burn them up.
Yeah. One question before I give you your shout outs and thanks opportunities, but are you guys, obviously it's harder for me to see in the booth, but were you guys taking something like left side tires or right side tires on those pit stops? I know obviously you're pitting for fuel every time, but I know sometimes there's opportunities to take like left side tires just to gain a little extra grip back, but is that something that you guys are doing during the green flag cycle?
Oh yeah, definitely. We have enough time to take lefts. You can take rights, but I think it's a little bit longer if you take rights, because the guys have to run from one side to the other, and mm, they're a little bit slow doing that. So, but lefts are, I think, the way to go here. If you can manage saving your rights and not burning them up, during the race, you know, that's probably your best shot. But we took lefts all night tonight, no rights.
Yeah, okay. Definitely seems like that's kind of the move for most plate racing. Um, it seems like that helps out for a little bit of grip for sure. But yeah, definitely a solid opportunity for you guys. Another Nightmare Esports 1-2 finish for tonight. So we'll roll that red carpet now at this time and give you your opportunity for thanks or shoutouts for that second place finish here tonight, Vicente.
Thank you, Boomer. I can't wait to watch this one back. I appreciate you broadcasting. I appreciate everybody watching the race and all the fans out there and all the drivers that participated here tonight. I want to thank Area 51 for putting on this league. All the admins that work hard to make the show happen. All the drivers to participate and Cody for being my teammate, Team Nightmare. Also want to shout out my family out in Arizona, my mom and dad. I love you guys. My wife for letting me do what I do here and putting up with me. And another huge shout out to my daughter. She actually had a driving test today and she passed. So
Hey,
shout
maybe
out to her.
yeah, maybe another racer some at some point in the
Yeah,
family.
I mean, I am building another rig here, so hopefully I could get my older son because I got another rig set up here. I'm building it, and I was hoping that he would finish it, but I think apparently I'm probably gonna have to finish it for him and get him get him on the track. So you might be seeing two Kuchikarais on the track here.
Awesome. Well, congratulations to her, and good road test passed, and obviously plenty of driving skill to learn from her father there. So congratulations to you, Vince, and hopefully we get a chance to talk to you real soon.
Thank you, Boomer.
Alrighty. So, trying to page Austin McCarthy. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll get a chance to get to talk with him tonight unless he's still able to rejoin the Discord. Tried to reach out there and hopefully maybe make it up at some point in a later time if we don't get a chance to talk to him. But we do have the number 16 of Cody Nagels to talk to as well, and we'll bring him up here in just a moment. And we do have the number 16 of Cody Nagels now in the broadcast booth. And a solid finish for you tonight. Started on pole and brought home the win. The push from the 14 helps you get there. And, well, I want to hear from you. What did it look like from behind the driver's wheel there tonight?
A little easier than the last time we came here, because if I do remember correctly, that was the race that I was having sound issues and I had to start from the pits, and then Vince wrecked on lap one, so we had to burn our tires up, which it made for a fun race, but I was glad we could not have issues right out the gate, both of us. And we just kind of relaxed for the first half of that race and saved tire. We had it, I think, our mind made up that if we saved enough tire, we planned on, not taking rights the entire race, and it worked out pretty well where we were able to just take lefts every single time, slowly break the pack. We weren't trying to do anything insane, just run a smart race and put ourselves in position. I got to give Austin a big shout out because he did a really good job of staying with us, and I think the move, whether it was intentional or not, he went back to Bud because Bud got picked up by our pack. And that was a really, really smart move by Austin. He put himself in a position to win the race potentially, or at least put some pressure on me. But Vince ended up he was fighting it on the last 5 laps, and he ended up getting tight. I think he might have followed me a little bit because I was going to try to go up and block before he cleared Vince and really put some pressure on him. But it looked like Vince said he got really, really tight, which I know his rights were getting pretty burnt. So but I'm glad that Austin saved it, and just a big shout out to Austin because he ran just as good of a race as me and Vince did, and I'm glad to see all of us were able to finish on the podium.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, you guys were executing at a very high level all race long, and obviously the contact unfortunate, but definitely obviously not in any way, shape, or form intentional there. Just trying to go for the win. And I mean, I was a little surprised to see how much ground he was able to gain on Vicente there. Obviously, with the contact, could have. I don't think he would have been able to challenge you for for the top spot, but I think he would have been able to challenge at least Vicente to break up that 1-2 finish.
Yeah, I think the same thing. If Bud could have stayed connected to him, I think he had a shot at me. But my play, I knew if I went up, it was going to kind of hurt Vince, but I was going to try to box Austin into where he really didn't have much option. Um, but obviously, him and Vince, Vince came up the track, got a little tight, made contact with him, and it kind of decided the race a little bit prematurely, which is unfortunate because, we it would have been nice to see kind of a little old fashioned 2v2 racing at the line. Um, but I had a lot of time to figure out whether I wanted just to do like the 2 on bottom, 2 on top and race it out, or, like I said, try to go box him in that way, kill his momentum, and then go back down to Vince, which is what I was planning on doing. But either way, I would have actually liked to have seen Austin get a little bit of a run just to make that finish a little bit more entertaining for the broadcast. But either way, I'll take it. It was a good, clean race. And as always, Area 51 seems to be decided by who can get off and on or on and off pit road. And so far, knock on wood, we haven't made many mistakes. We almost did on that last pit stop, though. Vince got into me and he almost spun. So that would have definitely been the big blemish on our year so far. So I'm glad that we were able to save it and kind of recover a little bit, if you will.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at that point, you guys had, I think, over a 7-second lead to that second pack anyway. So even if it was a little bit of a spin, I think it would have, still would have been, plenty of track position for you guys to make it up. But obviously, I'm watching the watching the replay here of the blimp cam for your interview shot, and looking at the beautiful paint scheme. And I mean, I highlighted it earlier for a couple other guys, but you can really let these spec maps shine and show, how much work goes into it. So, I want to know where that paint scheme kind of came from, and if that was something that you did yourself, or someone you had done for you.
Yeah, I did that myself. All the paints that you see, I do myself. That particular one, because I haven't quite got the line work of like making original line work down. So what I do is like I'll take a file that's uploaded to Trading Paints. I'll take the Targa file and then I'll kind of like strip it down, like use a little magic wand and take it and then make it my own. So I'll take line work, change color, put my logos on it, put my spec map on it, and do everything else myself. But you got SimWrap Market that I'll use sometimes, but this particular one I took off of it was a paint on Trading Paints that wasn't really used a whole lot, and I hadn't even seen it on track, but I liked it, and I decided to try to do something with it. So this is what I came up with.
Yeah, no, I mean the color palette's really fun. The black and white with the gold accents, especially at night here, it definitely. I mean, no pun intended, or but it does shine. It does look really good. So definitely props to you and all the people that put some really hard work into making these trucks look good. So, well, obviously, the truck looks good from a paint standpoint, but it also probably feels pretty good getting that victory here tonight. So we'll roll that red carpet out for you and give you a chance for any thanks or shout outs for that win for you tonight.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Boomer, for broadcasting the race. And as always, got to thank the Area 51 admins for putting the league on. And hopefully, come this off season, hopefully we can kind of go on a recruiting spree and rebuild it a little bit and get this back to the numbers that we're used to seeing for Area 51. But still, nonetheless, I really like the drivers that we have. And the one thing you really got to be careful of when you build these leagues is not letting the riffraff in, the cautions and everything like that. You really want to be selective in getting good drivers in here. Otherwise, it can run your good drivers out and the clean drivers out. So just really like the atmosphere they have, and I'd like to find some drivers that will complement this field in a way that will do Area 51 well in the future. Got to thank Vince and Nightmare. Obviously, me and him's kind of had some good chemistry this season. We've ran together for quite a while, so none of my success is even possible without Vince. And I know I've talked about it before, but our friendship has been pretty special on and off the track, and I really appreciate him and him. Just the friendship that we have, it means a lot to me, and hopefully we can keep doing this for a long time. That's the goal, knock on wood. And I am looking forward to Sunday because we got a really good program over there, so hopefully we can keep our momentum up. And I think the goal comes Sunday, if we can, is to get Evan a win.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, obviously, you guys have been in a pretty solid spot on Sundays as well, and we'll be looking forward to that action there. But yeah, congratulations to you, Cody. I mean, obviously, that chemistry that you talk about with you and Vince, it really shows, and it's definitely special to have someone who could push you and compete at a really high level. So really happy to see all you guys have accomplished so far this season, and obviously looking forward to see what else you can accomplish through the end of the season here.
Thank you, Boomer. I appreciate it. And I'm going to give a shout out in chat to everyone that's watching the race, but Seth being in chat again,
Yeah.
and Dean hopping in chat. And then a big shout out to my dad. He watches all these races. So I enjoy him going out here. And he has iRacing. So maybe on some of these broadcasts, you got to give him a hard time because he does have a rig. He's got a wheel. All he has to do is update his subscription. And I'd like to see him out here. And I keep pushing him, like, get out and run Friday nights with us.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun to see. So, all right, I have permission now from your son to give you a hard time, but obviously appreciate your dad hopping in the chat and at least hanging out with us here tonight. Always cool to see everybody who's watching. Like I said, plenty of past drivers and family and friends, so it's always fun. And I don't know, like you said, it makes it a fun atmosphere and a fun environment to race in. So, but yeah, congratulations to you once again on your continued success, Cody, and hopefully get a chance to talk to you again real soon.
Thank you.
Alrighty, that will do it for interviews. So, Austin McCarthy, want to shout out him for his third place finish here tonight. Not going to get a chance to interview him, but definitely a really good showing for that number 99 Toyota. And yeah, so obviously, really good execution for Austin there. He's got the Wisconsin and the Miller time scheme, and obviously the Packers helmet as well. So go Pack, go for the 99 of Austin McCarthy. Really solid effort there towards the later stages of the race, and being able to hang with Cody and Vicente, who again we've highlighted just the execution at such a high level for their pit stops and how they've been able to really control a lot of aspects of the Superspeedway action here on track for Friday nights and for Sunday nights. So big shout out to Austin. Definitely, hopefully get a chance to interview you in the future. Obviously having a really solid rookie season for you there, and finishing third here overall in that number 99. Definitely a solid finish for drivers who'd shown some really great potential for coming in and running pretty well early on here. So congratulations to Austin, and again, hopefully get a chance to talk to him soon as well. And yeah, appreciate everybody here for showing up and hanging out with us. So that will be it for the interview portion. We'll go to the not the standing, sorry, the schedule. So we'll bring up the Friday schedule now. Obviously, we have completed here on the 27th. That is Atlanta's race. We are halfway through the season. This was week 7 of 14, and as we mentioned a few times now, we're going to go to iRacing Superspeedway next week on March 6th. Daytona will be back on the 13th, followed by Talladega the following week, and that'll get us to the playoffs, starting with Atlanta, going to Daytona, back to Atlanta, and then Talladega to round out the season there on April 17th. So looking forward to the second half of this 2026 first season on Friday nights as well. We do also have the show on Sundays, so they will be at Atlanta in 2 days' time there on March 1st. iRacing Superspeedway again next week for the Gen 6 cars. On the 8th, Daytona Talladega, same schedule. Obviously, same schedule, just 2 days back. Then they'll go to Atlanta, Daytona, Atlanta, Talladega for their playoffs as well. And yeah, so plenty of action here on Fridays and on Sundays, as always, for both of the Super Speedway series for the trucks and the Gen 6, respectively. Always have to give a shout out on Tuesdays. Don't forget, Area 51 still running a Tuesday League, the 20th season of Indy Cars on and here in Area 51. And a huge shout out to our friends at P1 Broadcasting for all that they have been doing this season to cover the coverage, to do the coverage there and cover those races for us. Still within the Area 51 family, but good friends of ours here at Green White Checker TV. And again, we appreciate all that they have done to take a little bit off of our plate and let us focus more on Fridays and Sundays as well. So thank you to P1 Broadcasting. Check them out on Tuesdays. I don't have a graphic for their schedule, but I can at least talk you through it here while I can see it on my screen. And they have a few races coming up here. They were just at Nashville this past week. Kansas will be March 3rd, and then they're going to take a couple weeks off, and they're actually going to go to the Daytona Road Course on March 24th, which I think is going to be really exciting to see. That's such an iconic racetrack. Obviously, IMSA races there, MX5, the Cup stuff races there, and plenty of other series that race that prestigious track. And it's going to be fun to see those Indy cars race there on March 24th. A week later is Iowa. They've also got Richmond and Charlotte in April. And then May, they've got the Indianapolis 500 and Dover, and then they'll finish their season out the first week of June at Gateway. So again, P1 Broadcasting, go check them out on Tuesday nights, the 20th season of Area 51 IndyCar Racing. A lot of excitement over there as well. So that'll pretty much do it, I think. Always, if anybody's still watching or anybody's still rewatching, thank you. We appreciate everybody coming in and joining us on the broadcast, coming in the chat and hanging out, or watching it back. I know a lot of drivers will rewatch these and kind of go through what they can see and see if there's anything that they can learn from others or from them for their own races. So appreciate all the hard work you guys put into this league, and I know there's a lot of people to thank there from the admin standpoint as well. So yeah, appreciate being a part of this here at Green White Checker TV. It's always a lot of fun. So I think I've probably rambled on enough for now. So we'll say good night. We'll say take care, and hope you have a great week, and we'll catch you in the next one.